Okay. And we I'm live. Hello and welcome to Movie Crap. How's it going? It's been a night. I'm glad we are on. Took a little bit to get here, but we're here right now. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hello. Hello. I'm going to play the song again. Just for fun. The little theme song again. I should release this. I need to release some of the music that I use regularly. This is one of them I plan to release. I'm going to hit the repeat and then I'll say hey to everybody. I'm not ignoring. It's more of a... I want to play the song twice. Alright. Hello to... hold on. Someone was first. And I want to say their name first. Who said... Thanks for Mr. Maximus Hardwood, Cornbread, Sinram, Super Dusky, Optimus Rimjob. I gotta say, I've seen that screen name for so long. I always love it. Classic Cameron Purple Coop, Dylan Butler, William Elvin, hello, Jordan Salafalo, Dylan Butler, Nathaniel Foga, Dan's here. K-Master, if I said Sinram, I forget, but I think I did, but Sinram and Austin, last but not least, he made it. All right. We are here, believe it or not. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Okay, we are hot. Out the kitchen. There, see what I did there? Zodberg. Juan Don Natty is here. Javier Portello, what is up? All right, man. It has been a lot of stuff happened since the last time I've done the show. Hello, Caden Hanshy. How's it going? Oh, I'm sorry about that, Sinram. Anyway, yeah, it's been... I feel like in some ways it was just the weekend that was a little crazy. But, Paul Blart should have been Joker 2 and Sonic. I agree. All right, now I'm going to reveal the energy drink, which no one figured out. The energy drink clue was you can get it at a convenience store, which is a bit of a sneaky clue. I'm going to be honest there. But it was 7-Eleven's own energy drink called Fusion. And it's Cosmic Cherry. So here we go. Gonna try this. It's not sugary, but it tastes like very sugary. Anyway, so that's what I meant. See? There we go. Fusion. Get it? I was trying to be... It was a bit much. I tried too hard. And that's... So far, I don't know Linkin Park very well. Anyway, Black Sea Uncle said Paul Blart should have been in Joker 2 and Sonic. I agree. Cheers to you. Anyway. The Mega Man G Fuel. You know what? I've seen the Sonic G Fuel. I will look out for that. Wow, Ryan Walterson's here. Holy shit. I try to get different ones, but yes, the big one if you're not in the Discord, but I think... Thank you, Sidram, for saying that. Everyone should click the thumbs up. Thank you very much. If people keep suggesting the Welch's ghost, the ghost that's Welch's grape, and I haven't found it. So I think that would be the only one where I don't do a clue. I would be like, guys, I found it. Like, no clue that week. So, because I've actually went to a few stores, haven't found it. And it's not at the grocery store I usually go. So we'll see. But if I do find it, I won't post a clue. I'll be like, guys, we got him. Austin says, I'm sorry, but that was the worst clue ever. It could have been literally anything. Even Cornbread couldn't get it. Hey, sometimes people can't get them. That was a little, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not, you know what? A lot happens in a day. Sometimes my brain's not good with the energy drink thing. But I am looking for the grape ghost thing. But hey, this is a different one. Fusion. Cheers to you, Austin. Thank you very much. I'm sorry it was a bad clue. Alright. Smooch Chillin' Thank you, Rapplay Mickey. before I get into, I actually have a lot of things to talk about. Beginning of the show, and we have a flat. So we're gonna try to go through this. I actually had a really good time showing my kids. I showed them two old movies. I showed them the Godzilla movie. I guess it's called Godzilla vs. Monster X, and I'm escaping me the other name of it. It's like Invasion of Asteroid Planet X. Anyway, we watched that one first because for some reason in my head I thought that was the first King Ghidorah movie. It's not. I don't know why I thought that. I was like, why did I think that? I have no clue. But anyway, now I'm not going to order it. I have to find it in the wild, Austin. So we watched that, and it went over really well, despite the Invasion of the Astro Monster. Thank you, Super Dusky. And that went over really well, despite the fact that even though Godzilla does the dance, he's not in it that much. It's not a lot of like what you typically want for a kid to watch. And I definitely thought, I think I've seen it when I was a kid, but when I was a kid, we just played during the parts that Godzilla weren't on, so I only remember Godzilla fights sometimes and not the movie. But Godzilla's not in it, but they were like so into it the whole time because of all the sci-fi stuff. I actually think, and I'm not trying to be, I do like Godzilla vs. Mothra a lot, but I would say like even though Godzilla vs. Mothra should be in this conversation as well, I think Invasion of the Astro Monster should be in the conversation for one of the best sci-fi movies of the 60s. Now obviously there's like 2001 and like there's bigger ones, but I thought but the kids were like so into it, like they weren't like bored, they weren't bored at all. So I was very surprised how well that went over. And I watched Dracula's Daughter with my daughter because I like to show her actual scary movies from that she can see. And we weren't in the mood for Terrifier, so no, it was we have seen Smog Monster. We did watch, my daughter and I watched that one a while ago with the Save the Earth. That one's cool. But hello Taco Master. But yeah, it made me feel good, and I try to curate. I'm not just like, hey, when I was a kid I watched Star Wars and Ghostbusters and all the typical stuff. I don't actually play that for them. I try to go like, well, what do I think they would be into? As well as like, I want her to see an actual horror movie. And I watched Universal horror movies when I was a kid because they were G and PG. And even though I wanted to see Jason and Freddy, my parents were like, well, you can see this and you can see Dracula and all that. And I really liked it and it was fun. So I try to continue that tradition, and she liked Dracula's Daughter. And there's, because also she wants to see ones that are have actual women in it, which are not most of them. Are not just the love interest or something. Also, I actually signed up for Peacock just for it because the Internet Archive was down, which I plan to download that for it, and it's like a crappy quality copy, the free one. And they actually, I'm not joking here. They actually did a great restoration on Peacock of Dracula's Daughter. So I gotta give it up for Dracula's or Peacock for actually restoring like all the Universal monsters, because I've seen some of the bigger ones on there and they look good, but like Dracula's Daughter is not like probably one of the more, it's of the sequels probably better received, but like the Universal monster sequels are not as well liked. And I was like, I give credit to you because I've never seen that movie look that good ever in my life, and I think that was my third time seeing it. Anyway, that made me feel good because it's hard to like, I know people are like, oh, I can't get kids to watch movies from the 90s, but we were like 60s and the 30s, so I felt good about that. Bride of Frankenstein is good, but the problem is for kids, my daughter, she was like, wanted to see The Bride, and she's barely in it. So I think that is a great, campy, amazing movie. But anyway, also, the screening that I had that was at Normal's Books, I was not there. My dad was, actually, which was cool of him, that Matt did. Apparently went really great. Everyone who talked to me about it told me Phone Bugging went over really well. I wasn't there, so I'm just going to be like, I guess it did. But they also played Werewolf in New York, which is why that was sort of a unofficial throwback this past weekend. So it, I think I have seen In Conquer the World. I forget what that's about now, but But yeah, apparently it went well. There's another footage of like Matt did sort of these remixes with experimental music, and I'm gonna post one of those on Sunday, or the one that he's uploaded on his channel. Um, but I did yeah, apparently it went well. People liked it, and if you are in Baltimore or near Normal's book, supposedly, I don't know if they're still there, but they put my flyers with the flyers they offer there after the screening, any ones that were left. So it might not be there still, but it was cool seeing people get excited for Werewolf in New York. If you've never seen it, it's sort of like my first kind of it sort of was on YouTube and then got taken down, and then Matt took it down to put on Vimeo, and then it came back up. So if you've never seen it, go through my community tab and find it. It's a cool movie, and it's like one of the shorts I'm proud of, post film school and all that. And Matt's a great director, and he did a great screening. I'm really happy with it. If the other people who had screenings send me links or something, I will post those in the community tab in the future. They haven't yet, but I was told they were told this, so. And if anyone who's here or watching this later was there, thank you very much for attending. That was really cool. And it was awesome, like my first like kind of showing of any kind in Baltimore in a very long time. I know there's like some Knockforce DVDs that kind of rotate between bars and like stuff like that, but there's not like an official screening like that, I think, in forever. So, or maybe ever. I don't think of anything like that to that degree. So it was cool that happened. Yeah, I was really happy about that. So, I know he wants to do more stuff like that, and I don't know I don't know when I'm gonna make. I have some cartoon ideas and video essay ideas, so I don't know. But when I do have another one, I would like to do that there. But it was awesome, and if you're near Normal's Books in Baltimore, see if you can pick up a flyer. It says "Thank you for coming" on the back that I signed. Everyone. So that's pretty cool. But thank you for Normal's Books for keeping those flyers and everything, and I appreciate them doing the screening. Also, on Monday, we had the 10th anniversary of my first Pizza Party podcast. That was pretty cool. I think I was surprised the outpouring of support. I knew people would be excited for it. I didn't realize that. Most of it, I think people knew, was like, I sort of was invited, but not. He was like, you can come back anytime, and I just took that for... that was, I could come back whenever I wanted, and then I just became a regular... but yes, it was true that people were like, wow, you really messed that up. And all I said was like, hey, what's up? It's Jim, my usual thing. And people were like, oh man, you messed up this opportunity. So many things like that. And I don't know. It is interesting. I did feel like once it came out, I felt really good. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'm not good at this. And then later I was like, I think those people were wrong. I think they were just dicks. Anyway, hey, Chan Talks More Movies. And Austin, thank you for the super chat. Said, I was waiting too many times now. I don't have any Welsh grape juice energy drink. Cheers to you, Austin. Anyway, I'm not like bitter. I'm just re-explaining the story. But it's just like, I think it's a lesson in, if you feel really good about something and you like doing it, and everyone's like, sometimes listen to your gut and don't listen to them. Because if I had listened to them, I wouldn't have kept doing it. And I love doing it. I learned... Yeah. I think you should stick with your gut more than you do. But, I need to talk to Izzy about the official right to Who Are You People. I don't know who did the... yeah, that was never... Anyway. What was the reference to Matt's film Scarcity? That was oh, what? I'm lost now. Oh, yes. I was waiting for too many times now. Oh, to the King Ralph joke. Which I wrote, so you think I'd know that. Trying to think what else. Oh, I saw Megalopolis. That was cool. I have shot a review. What else happened? Oh, okay. I tried to make a kind of a short of all the piece by piece posters that were up, and I didn't get enough. So if you want to see the photos I took of them, it never came out. That is on Twitter, and okay, I'll just go through videos, and then we should. Sorry, it was getting a kid who was not going to bed a lot, so I feel like I'm a little frazzled whenever I have to do something like that. But videos this past week. Oh, I do have something cool to say. First of all, we had, the Creepaway Camp full review, The Good, the Bad, and the Huckleberry. Am I forgetting? Oh, the Joaquin Phoenix Part 2. That series is sort of over now. What else? What was that all of it? Yeah, The Wild Robot. That was the... Okay, The Wild Robot. The Mario Dance Beat, which I'd had for a little bit. I think those are all the things. As well as the Day Job review. And the cool thing about the Day Job review, and I'll just say this on here because I was surprised by it, and maybe I don't think this is out of school because I thought it was really cool. So, I'm editing the review. It was a segment on Movie Crap a while ago. And thank you, Cornbread. And I should have told you this story before, and I apologize. I meant to. Let me move this over. Wait. Yeah, okay. So I follow the creator. Hold on. William Ellman, have you seen the Baltimore Christmas classic Christmas Evil, the new Vinegar Syndrome? Oh my God, it does. I reviewed that forever ago, like 2017, I think. I've reviewed that. I like that movie a lot, actually. I like that movie a lot. That is one of the better, that would be on my list of the better Christmas horror movies. But I have reviewed Christmas Evil. I have done that. Cheers to you, William Ellman. Thank you for me. I kind of want to get that because I know John Waters is a fan. But cheers to you. And I remember he has a van and that Masters Universe merchandise is in there. But I have reviewed it. So, this is your 20th Super Chat. Thank you very much, William Ellman. So check out that review. I definitely did it. Right? I thought I did. Anyway, so I'm editing the review. I'm looking up, making sure I have names, all this stuff. And I realize Twitter's like, oh, you don't follow the creator of Day Job. I was like, oh, I should do that because I like this guy. I like his show. And I follow him. And then I get a DM. And he's like, dude, I've been watching you for like 15 years. And and I'm like, oh, okay, wow, that's amazing. Because I'm actually working on a review of Day Job. And he was like, actually, I wanted to have segments. There's certain segments that are loose that are sort of influenced by Knock Force, which is also pretty crazy because when I watched Day Job, and I told him this, I felt like it reminded me of that period in my 20s when I was making Knock Force. So it was like kind of a crazy experience. Like I had no clue. And I really like the show and it's my kind of thing. But apparently it is my kind of thing because he definitely was like sort of influenced, but he admitted that he liked Knock Force and watches this channel and stuff. So anyway, I'm sorry if that was not cool. I'm very proud of that, to be honest with you. It was like a very nice surprise. It sort of made my day that day. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, the Day Job guy likes me. Like, knew who, all this, had been watching it. And, like, but anyway, Cornbread, thank you for that. Because it's a good vote of confidence when you learn somebody cool is, like, checking you out, been watching you for, like, as long as he says he has and, all that stuff. And it's, like, knew me from the Knock Force days. And that was, like, an influence on a show I really like. That makes me feel good. I feel like, I feel like it's cool that's lived on the way it has. So anyway, it was kind of a shock. I never expect people to DM me like that. So anyway, if you disagree with me, I know it was a private thing, but I was very happy about it. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's cool. If he wants to, it's all there. If he wants to join Discord or anything like that, that's cool. But I just wanted to say, check out Day Job because apparently it's pretty good. If you do want to check it out, and this isn't a plug to get views, but in the description of that video, I do have linked the 3 episodes that I talked about reviewing. So if you're like, oh, where do I get started? Just click on the video, go to the description. You can watch the video too. That's cool. But if you don't want to, just get the links and go from there. And I've noticed when you watch one, the next one's usually next to it on YouTube almost every time I've watched it. So, but if you need the links, they're there. All right. Male Tears. Hello. It's been a while. I've not actually seen any of the Terrifier movies, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay. So throwbacks. I apologize. Obviously Pizza Party. We had, Creatures of Black Lagoon, Wolfman New York, Tomorrow is my review of Book of Life, which just had its 10th anniversary. I did not like that movie as much as I wasn't super positive, but if you're like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Don't worry, my kids watch it every year. It's a great movie. We've watched it a ton of times, so I have come a little around on it. But if you want to see what I thought about it in 2014, right after I started doing Pizza Party, I guess you can see it on tomorrow, as well as Thank You Inc., as well as Last Man on Earth, which is a Vincent Price movie. It is the first version of, basically, there's the story that I Am Legend is. There's two movies before. It's Last Man on Earth first, Omega Man, and then I Am Legend. And then Asylum made I Am Omega, which I've always wanted to see it happen. But in my opinion, it kind of like gets worse as it's gone on. But Last Man on Earth is a great Vincent Price movie, post-apocalyptic thing. I highly recommend it if you can see it. I forget if it's on Tubi or wherever it is. But my review of that will be out tomorrow. Not the Will Forte show. This is before this is from the 60s, I believe. Anyway, I say it correctly when I did. And I think that's everything. I have had a Krabby Patty. I have shot a thing. I recorded a voiceover. I have to put it all together. I'm not sure if that's going to be next, or I'm trying to get Rebel Ridge done. So there's some cool stuff coming up, and I came up with a good way to do a compilation for some reviews that I'm excited about, and all that good stuff. And yeah, so maybe some longer of the shorts because they have that thing. I'm not sure. Anyway, is that everything? I'm sorry. There's like a lot of things. Did you? I feel like there's like something I watched. Oh, Death Becomes Her. That was cool. I can't think of anything. Oh, I've watched the new Unsolved Mysteries. I've only watched the one about the cow getting mutilated, and they made some good points of like, there's definitely something going on with that. Anyway, yeah, I agree with you, Dan, on that. I actually showed it to my kids for the specific reason of, one, they were so into Coco. I was like, well, you should see, not that Coco is bad or there's a better one. I think they both kind of coexist, but see a film from a Mexican director and also a different kind of character design, different way of doing it. I think that I always tell people, like, you should watch Book of Life, because I think it's like, we don't get unique animated films like that. Anyway, the Wednesday Burger was better. I've thought about, I don't know if the Wednesday Burger is the weirder one, because it's like a tie-in to those MGM CG Addams families, and we're like on a different Addams Family adaptation at this point with the Wednesday show. And I will say this, every kid I've talked to who saw those Addams Family movies doesn't remember them, which is like pretty amazing. Like, you failed it. Oh my god. I never saw the second one though. I don't know if I'll do the Wednesday Burger. We'll see. If I do, we'll see. If you guys like the Krabby Patty one. I hope it's as good as my Rick and Morty solo music one I did forever ago with the Szechuan sauce. I always liked that one. Anyway. Alright. Was that everything? I think so. Sorry, that was so front-loaded. Alright, this and everything, all the things that I do are supported by you, the fans, or for the most part, you, the fans. Through my Patreon, which is linked below. You get all sorts of cool stuff there, or during a super chat where I'll drink this amazing 7-Eleven Fusion energy drink, and definitely read out your question and all that stuff. And it helps me be able to do all sorts of things, like continue to do this show, pay bills, have more stickers, have flyers, be able to ship those flyers, all sorts of stuff like that. The Patreon has all sorts of cool stuff like postcards, which have been mailed out, the commentary series, which is going to be another one soon. You get more Power in the Movie review vote. You get to know the totals and everything like that, and all sorts of other exclusive content. And obviously, you get posted when a new thing goes up. It goes right to your email box here that's set up. And it's a great way to, or if you don't want any of that, you can opt out of all that stuff and just give me the donation. That's cool too. But it helps me be able to continue to grow. It helps me be able to do this. If I, get a ton of money, I'll only do this. That would be cool. But as for right now, any support is very much appreciated. I thank you very much for doing so if you're financially able to. If you're not, just subscribing and liking this video and just watching is very thankful. If you subscribe, if you want to know exactly when videos come out, you can hit the notification bell. That helps the channel, obviously, But just liking is cool too. But if you're just watching, you don't even have a YouTube account, really, you just watch from YouTube, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate you being here. If you're from a sticker or a flyer, hey, what's up? Let me know in the comments or something. Yes. But I very much thank you for any kind of support. Even if you're just watching, I very, very much appreciate it. It really means a lot to me that I'm able to do this, because I love doing this. Also, where were we? The Discord has all sorts of awesome stuff, like, hold on, my cards are in here. The licensed playing card channel. Sorry, there's general, where I talk, like today I was like, what should I talk about? Movie crap. They learn what the segment's going to be early. There's the Ask Jim channel. There's the suggestions for Jim channel, where it was an indie pilot, which I haven't watched yet, that Austin let me know. All sorts of cool interactivity with me, but also it's a great community there. If you like this chat here, I'm pointing at it because that's on my computer. I'm assuming, does that look like, is this? Oh, I'm pointing the wrong direction. Anyway, I mean, over here. Yeah. Anyway, if you like this chat and you're like, oh man, I want to hang out with them, you can. On the Discord. Everyone's there. They do movie watches, or they do a watch party pretty much every week. They do all sorts of cool activities, and it's a wonderful community. It's the Discord I'm most active in, and I highly recommend it. Click on the link below. They're watching Idle Hands. Oh, I remember watching that. And they watched The Great Pumpkin last week. Anyway, you should do it, and it's run very well by Austin and Zane Powers. Also, I have a Tumblr, TikTok, Instagram, both personal and the Reels one. I have a Twitter. I feel like I should get a Blue Sky. I haven't figured that out at this point, but I'll figure it out. And then I think that's Facebook, Tumblr. It's all in the description down below if you would like to do that. And YouTube's being weird in here for some reason. That's weird. Anyway, we're back. All right. Little choppy, I notice sometimes. I don't know what's going on with that. Whatever. I don't really want to disconnect and reconnect, but we'll see. All right. So, all right. So let's get into. Have we talked about everything? Let's actually talk about the news, because I'm sure you don't need all those updates. I know I haven't been great at the timestamps lately. I'm gonna try this week. It's just there's always something going on. It always messes stuff up. So I apologize. All right. So finally, we found out the release date of the Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up. It is Friday, because that's when the movie come out, February 28th, 2025. Yes, so the Looney Tunes movie, the one that could not be written off for tax purposes, has a distributor. That's when it's going to come out. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see. I don't think there's an English language trailer, but I think it's actually a good release date, because it's far away from Dogman and not close to Elio. And I didn't look at the 2025 release calendar, but I believe it's a little bit of time by itself. I think they need to get those trailers out. I hope they get a trailer out before, like, Moana 2 and all that sort of stuff. But we'll see. I have noticed there's kind of two narratives. One, like, we're all going to see and support it. And then there seems to be other people like, well, you know, when this doesn't do well, it looks like you'll have to admit that David Zaslav was right. And I will never admit that, because it's still a shitty thing. It's 100% a shitty thing. It doesn't matter that it's a Looney Tunes movie. So shut the fuck up. Also, I don't think that's comparable, because I don't think this distributor has the marketing power of Warner Brothers. So comparing, like, well, see, that would have bombed too. I'm like, that's not really comparable. Maybe they will have the ad spend to do it. I don't know. But I'm going to take both my kids to see it. So I know there will be 3 tickets that were bought. So yeah, I think that'll be, I don't know. I hope it does well. I'm excited for it. I mean, it's from the people who made the Looney Tunes shorts on Max, and those were great. And I expect nothing less. And the Daffy and Porky stuff on there was really wonderful. You know, I like the one in the Christmas special, because we watch that every year, where they're trying to make like a game system and stuff. That's still really funny. So Daffy and Daffy and Porky make a good combo, especially in that one. So we'll see. I agree with you, Dan. I'm a little worried about that theater count as well. There's not too much to talk about with that. So I know it's in the thumbnail and stuff, but it's just like it did. I wanted to talk about all the controversies, and it did get released. And I'm really excited. So I'm sorry if I'm like the first two things are in the thumbnail. I'm not like going on and on about, but they are kind of exciting things. You know, they are the big news to me, even if there's not as much to talk about. So I apologize. I'm not trying to be clickbaity or anything. I don't think you want me to. No one's gonna check it out for my. Hey, we should be considering Universal more. Talk about later. Let's see. I mean, maybe it'll. I think it has a better chance to like surprise people. That's honestly what I think. I think its word of mouth is going to be bigger than people understand. Anyway, so the other big thing is that we finally got a Wallace and Gromit trailer, but we learned that the release date is January 3rd, which is puzzling. I'm not exactly sure why it can't be a Christmas movie on Netflix. That feels like a perfect release date, but like whatever. I don't understand the January 3rd thing. However, the trailer looked great. It looks like the penguin guy is back, which I kind of like the whole it's called Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Foul, which I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting trailer. I wanted to watch it again before this, and I didn't get a chance to. But I am excited for it. I think it'll be cool. I know Aardman's like cut jobs and stuff like that, and I think they're in an interesting place right now. I think any stop motion studio is in a weird place. Stop motion's very interesting because you either have people who are, like Henry Selick, who can release them, like all his two of his old hits are box office hits right now, and stuff like that. And then you have other stuff where it's like impossible to get the public involved. So as long as this is a little better than what? But it's the rooster thing. Oh, okay, sorry. I don't know. We'll see about this one. I am excited, but I hope it's better than Chicken Run 2, which I need to edit that review of. But I'm excited for it. I also would like to review the first Wallace and Gromit and the 3 shorts and all that stuff. But Wallace and Gromit's always been 2 characters I loved, and I hope it does well. But I am disappointed by the release date. But it might also be. And I do think this is because I'm always complaining that the problem with the Christmas season is that there's almost too many things to watch, and always something gets sort of like lost in the shuffle. And I feel like Chicken Run 2 sort of had that problem. And I think like maybe they're being smart and being like, well, we put it out like later, maybe people will be more inclined to check it out. I hope that's why. I do feel like. But I mean, is it still eligible for like awards stuff? Like, I don't know. I'm not exactly, because Aardman like usually gets. I don't think, didn't Chicken Run 2 not get a Oscar nomination? I forget, but like Wallace and Gromit's pretty Oscar friendly, so I would think you would try to get that in there. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing with that, but the idea of like the town kind of getting mad at Wallace and Gromit and all this stuff. I think it'll be interesting. I'm curious about this. So although I think they're the best thing I've seen them release around Christmas is that Shaun the Sheep Christmas thing, which I also need to review as well. That we watch that every year, and I still think that my kids love that. It's so funny. Aardman's wonderful. Hello, Nat and Box 64. Isn't Aardman's like the best? So it'll be awesome to have their characters back again. Anyway, so sorry I'm going. Some of these are just like I have a few things, and then there's a lot to talk about, so it's fine. It's cool. There's going to be a Viewmaster movie, and my thing with this, the Viewmaster movie, is like when I heard about it, I was like, oh, it's going to be a horror movie. And you look at it and you're like, oh shit, that's how I die. I don't know. And then I read it's a family-friendly adventure, which I was like, no, I'm sorry. It just, I don't want a family friendly thing. I want a horror movie. In fact, I came up with a better concept where people are looking in a circle at a Viewmaster, and when you look at the Viewmaster, you find out how the person next to you dies, but only you can see it. You can't see how you died. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, this is a horror movie. How do you make a Viewmaster movie? And they're like, oh wow, I'm in a whole world of 3D. Like, nobody wants to see that. People want to see people get stabbed holding a Viewmaster. Everyone knows this. This is 100%. Look at the marketing. If you ask the teens, they're like, what would you rather see? Like one of them dumb Minecraft movies or whatever? Or someone's pushing the thing down and then they get stabbed in the face. And they're going to be like, holy shit, now that you brought me that option, stabbed in the face. And they're like, we should just have that be an option for all test marketing. But then people would get sick of people getting stabbed in the face. So really, it's like they shouldn't ask. But the kid, that's what they want. That's what they want. Viewmaster, none of his family. I get it. You have a product that people remember, so it's recognizable IP. I get that. But like, just didn't people like the second Ouija movie? Maybe. I didn't see it, but I heard that. And like, just go in that direction. Just more like, just like they're holding the Viewmaster. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. Oh, that's how you died. And then stab in the face. Holding the Viewmaster. Viewmaster gets messed up. And then you sell a Viewmaster with a knife going through it. Come on, guys. Think about it. Just saying, think about it. But yeah, I'm not super into this unless it's a horror movie. I think you put it as a horror movie where someone gets stabbed in the face. I'm sorry to emphasize this. Holding a Viewmaster. Like... Am I proposing a Minecraft movie where Minecraft stabs you in the face? You know what? I wasn't, but now I am. I think that should be in every movie. Wicked, Minecraft. I feel like it's probably in Gladiator 2, so I'm going to not say that one. If it's not, it should be. That's going to be my criticism. You know what? That's what I should put out. After I see movie go, Megalopolis. Nobody got stabbed in the face. Honestly, though, I saw that movie and probably someone did and I forgot because there's like so many weird things going on in that movie. Maybe that should really be the scale. No more stars. How many people got stabbed in the face? Megalopolis. No one stabbed in the face. And Coppola's like, it's not fair. It's not fair, he says that. My heart's on the screen and I've judged against knives in the face. All right, I'll stop this bit. I'm sorry. I don't know if anyone's liking this. Okay. Sorry. I'll drink some water. Okay. So, I'm just saying, should have stabbed in the face review short week would be a banger. Thank you. All right. So we learned tonight, some of these are just things I learned tonight actually, is Paul King, the guy who directed the first two Paddington movies, and Wonka, is going to be working with Disney on a Prince Charming movie. I like Paul King, and I will say that I don't want to count him out because we were all like, this Wonka movie, good luck with that, you stupid idiot. Nobody's going to like that. And then everybody liked it. So I kind of like don't want to play the game. Like, I feel like he like knows what he's doing at this point. And it's not a direct thing. It's just sort of like Prince Charming. I just don't think, I don't like the Disney live action remakes. I think they're all garbage, but this isn't an exact like live action, it's not a specific remake. And, I sort of am like, think you could have more fun with it, but it is like sort of the same creative team from Paddington and stuff like that. So I'm a little optimistic, but I'm not fully optimistic really because it's a Disney live action remake. But I have some faith in Paul King because I think every time people are like, a Paddington the Bear movie, that's not going to be good. And then it is. And then, you same with Wonka was pretty decent in Paddington too. So I'm a little like, let's not count this guy out just yet. Let's not go down that road. William Ullman says, "What do you think of the Virgin song Megalopolis?" I love that it would refer to things that had because it was written for so long. It's like I guess it's about Britney Spears, but when people were doing that with the Jonas Brothers and stuff like that. But that was interesting with her on the thing. I love when she was like, get me down," but then it turns out it's not. Whatever, the whole like cancel culture part of it is super not one of its better parts. I like the song. Okay, Audrey Plaza with Shia LaBeouf is a unique, like, what is going, so many, there's too many things where like someone would play a clip and I'm like, did I watch that? Or like I feel like I saw it but I didn't. I need to watch that one again. It was interesting. What I didn't love about it is like you're doing a direct Britney Spears thing, but she was more like sugary and more tempting with the Virgin thing, I think, than the schoolgirl thing. I mean, that was a little much. I don't know, but anyway, and the David LaChapelle photo shoot. Cheers to you, William Wellman. I can tell you saw Megalopolis. Although I want to see, I finally got a copy of The Substance, but like I'm not even joking, I almost saw it, but I almost saw it at like a ridiculously late screening because they're literally like that movie for some reason in New York has the worst show times for my schedule. Like I'm sort of disappointed. I don't know. I almost feel like there should be. I want to make a video on like sometimes showtimes, unless you're seeing like the first big release movie, it can be like rough. And I've noticed that one. It's like not aligning with me at all, unfortunately. But I do really want to see that. I think I would like to have a horror movie review before Halloween or around that, and I feel like that should be the one. I don't know. But I still have the Mickey slasher movie. I don't know. We'll see about. I don't know. I would like to review that at some point. I mean, I have it. So, also we learned that Rick and Morty has been renewed to season 12. Now you're like, wait, what season are we on? And to be totally honest, I didn't know either. But season 8 is slated for 2025, and season 10 was actually announced 2 years ago. So it's getting 2 more seasons, and the contract presently has it go till 2029. I think Rick and Morty's sort of gone down. I think it was going down in the public interest because the general public was like so into that fucking show. When it first came out, I do think that is sort of one of the before time. It's still very popular. I'm not stupid. It's still doing very well. But the huge popularity it had, I think, died probably right before the pandemic hit. But I think the pandemic kind of killed that, I would say. That's my own personal. I don't have numbers beyond that, but it's just how the vibe. But like, who is that guy in the Star Wars movie, Babu? I felt like there was a lot like that opening part in episode 9 felt very Rick and Morty. There's a lot of Rick and Morty in that episode 9, and a lot of Rick and Morty writers in Marvel, and even that's like gone away at this point. Marvel got rid of most of those guys, and except for I think the She-Hulk person, but yeah, it's just not as cool as it used to be. Like, even people I know who liked it are like, oh yeah, I missed this season. I think I've seen most of it, and I do watch it, to be honest with you, but I'm not excited about it. I don't think I only watched a few episodes with the new voices. So, but yeah, Adult Swim seems very committed to it. It's probably like their Simpsons kind of thing where it's just going to exist for as long as it possibly can with Dan Harmon and stuff. But it's also weird to me that now Dan Harmon's more known for Rick and Morty than Community. It's just like, whoa. All right, now we'll get into some movie stuff. Hold on, okay. So apparently, Sam Raimi is most likely going to do Doctor Strange 3. The holdup of this and why it's sort of a rumor makes sense when you think of all the Marvel stuff that is sort of lined up, like Avengers Doomsday, Fantastic Four, the Avengers Secret Wars, all that stuff. So I don't think this is going to happen till around when the end of Rick and Morty season 12 or whatever. Like, it doesn't sound like this is happening. It's not going to happen for a while. But the reason they're sort of holding out for him, and a lot of reporters and industry people have brought up, is that there are very few directors who, like, if you hear they're doing a superhero movie, the public gets excited, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I didn't. I'm gonna show up for that because of that director." And it's sort of like, Raimi, Nolan. I think if people kept listing people, it was like Raimi, Nolan, James Gunn, sort of the Russos, and Favreau. And it was like, yeah, I can't think of anyone beyond those five. But like I see, like his three Spider-Man movies made the most out of all those when they re-released them. People talk about the Raimi Spider-Mans, and they'll show up for a Raimi superhero movie, and that box office bump for Doctor Strange is something that they're really thinking about. So it seems like they are planning on doing Doctor Strange 3 with Sam Raimi at this time, but that is so far off that things could change. But as of right now, it's sort of why it's a rumor at this point. However, Sam Raimi is presently working on his horror movie where people are trying. It's sort of like, I guess, Castaway Misery mashup sort of thing, and Rachel McAdams is in it. That sounds awesome. I'm excited for a Raimi horror movie. That sounds really cool. But yeah, the Doctor Strange 3 thing is interesting, but it sounds like Marvel is very much like, supposedly on Doctor Strange 2, Feige let Raimi do a lot more than most directors, and I'm like, yeah, he should. He's fucking Sam Raimi. Like, I don't. It's not just the Spider. To me, it's like I knew him as the Evil Dead guy before I knew him as the Spider-Man guy. So to me, it's like he was already like goated, and then he did another sort of goated thing with the Spider-Man movie. So it's like he's like double. To me, he's like one of the major directors of all time. So I don't understand when people. What I think the thing is with Raimi is I have long thought, and I was talking to people, and I noticed it, is that when people said, "Oh, it's really cheesy," and like kind of like, why does he do this dumb humor? And I was like, I'm sorry. Have you ever seen have you ever seen Evil Dead or like a Sam Raimi non-Spider-Man movie? And almost no one had. And I was like, all right, that's just strange to me because I think Syndrome, as me as well, Evil Dead 2 was my first Sam Raimi. I do think it used to be when I was a kid, like the comic book store guys were like, no, you have to see Evil Dead 2. It wasn't like a gatekeepy thing. It was like, no, you got to do this. And I did it. And I have noticed that people don't, because people are more cautious now, and I get people have sensibilities and stuff. Nobody recommends those as much because they are pretty gruesome and crazy and stuff. But like, if you haven't seen any of the Evil Deads this Halloween, that is what you should be doing. You can start with Evil Dead 2, trust me. It's sort of just a remake of Evil Dead 1, but Evil Dead 1 and 2 are great. Army of Darkness is great. Just watch the trilogy. You will have fun. Guaranteed. I haven't watched them in a little bit, but whoa, those things, like, the impact those films had cannot be understated. I do think Evil Dead 2 maybe, on a technical level, is one of the greatest made films I've ever seen. Like, absolutely. Like, I love Spider-Man 1 and 2, but, like, if you ain't seen those... If you've not seen the Evil Dead movies, I don't really think you should be talking about Sam Raimi, in my honest opinion. Thank you, William Elman, for taking the subtext and explain. Yes, that is probably why people don't like it as much. I want to talk about Universal for a little bit because it's sort of interesting, and it goes into Nolan stuff and other stuff. But Universal, next year, no, 2026 has, this is for real, their lineup, a new Shrek movie, a new Christopher Nolan movie, a new Jordan Peele movie, a Steven Spielberg movie, and Super Mario Brothers 2. So that means both their animation houses are firing on all cylinders. You have three of the biggest name auteurs who people will actually show up to making big movies. That's Spielberg's UFO movie, that's Nolan's movie with Matt Damon in it, and Jordan Peele's, I'm assuming, a horror movie, all come out in 2026. I think people, and also the Daniels are with Universal. So I think as many as we talk about Warner's and Disney and all these things, Universal, I've noticed, is like secretly creeping up to be this huge powerhouse, and it seems like no one's really talking about, like, Universal's going to destroy it. Oh, good point, Cornbread. Sorry, I didn't notice that before. Good point. I should have said goodbye. I read it earlier, but anyway, it doesn't matter. That's interesting. I didn't realize That's pretty crazy. But we do know that Jordan Peele will be shooting next summer, and he did re-up his deal with Universal. I think they wanted him to sort of filter, like, do more other stuff with Monkey Paw, which hasn't really. Nothing from Monkey Paw has blown up that's not Jordan Peele stuff. He's pretty much the biggest moneymaker for his own production company. I know they did Candyman. I know they have like Scare Tactics. And I know like Universal and other studios wanted him to do more stuff. And it feels like he's just. It's not really. It's sort of like the idea of like why people don't sign with labels that are run by certain artists and stuff like that, because that artist is the most important. It feels like sort of that. Yeah, don't they have another Fast movie coming out? Wow, I forgot about that. That too. Is that coming out 2026? I feel like that might too. Jesus. Anyway, why I brought this up is there's a lot of questioning of why did Christopher Nolan barely consider Warner Brothers, and people kept bringing up, well, if you think about it, Warner's gave him that check for the residuals of Tenet, and they tried to play nice with him, and he didn't give a shit. I think what people are forgetting is, Monkey Man. But Monkey Man didn't do that well. That's what I mean by it. But I agree. I need to see Monkey Man. There's too many movies to see. But I think why Christopher Nolan said fuck you to Warner Brothers is not just because of the streaming thing. I think that's sort of like old news. Universal won him the Best Director Oscar. They won him a Best Picture. They did everything he wanted. Warner's is not in the place to do that. But also, I knew when he won Best Director, Universal was playing the smart game there, because that's the same thing. The Daniels aren't going to go anywhere. You've got the Daniels, you've got Christopher Nolan, you've got these huge big directors. That's, as a studio, that's a smart move. It's a dumb move to do what Warner's is doing. And I think the Batgirl thing hurt them in the long run, because someone like Christopher Nolan's going to look at that and go like, well, I don't want my movie to be a tax write-off for you to like decide it's getting released here and not play. And maybe he knows even signing a deal with him is a waste of time. So, but I think the Oscar thing is honestly a big part of it. But I think Batgirl is another part. I think Batgirl does play into this, to be totally honest with you. I think it would be stupid to think it didn't. And there was also the thing that came out again about he did try to work with the Broccoli's and try to make a James Bond movie. I've heard this happen. To me, it's like he doesn't need to, because Skyfall is a Christopher Nolan influenced James Bond movie. I think we already got that. We don't need it anymore. Leave it alone. But I have heard the rumor from various industry people on podcasts and stuff, and it's stayed consistent, so I don't mind repeating it, but I'm going to say it's a rumor, is that he did try to pitch doing one Bond movie and having Tom Hardy as Bond. And his idea was like he would just do like this one big one. I've heard rumors he was going to pitch a trilogy and it'd be like his next Batman sort of thing, and he could do whatever he wanted. But the Broccoli's wouldn't let him do that, or let him do just one with one guy or something. Because the Broccoli's are like, they've turned down Spielberg, they've turned down Nolan, any major director who they can't push around, they turn down. So, I mean, that's sort of like why Bond is in the mess. It's like why we get like a really good one and then like a lot of subpar, is because of the way they run that thing. So it's not, but I have heard multiple times the same story, is that he did pitch and apparently got Tom Hardy on board to maybe play James Bond, and he'd make his own sort of kind of Bond thing, and they would not give him the level of control, which I think was a bit of a mistake. But I also feel like that franchise has been there, done that with Skyfall. You're not telling me Javier Bardem isn't playing Heath Ledger's Joker. It's like a Nolan thing. So, but anyway, I just wanted to say it. So, moving on. The Electric State trailer. I want to say I'm not fully against this movie. I don't think the Russo brothers work very well. After Marvel, I know people were saying defending them because of this trailer. It doesn't look, aesthetically, it doesn't look good. Aesthetically it looks fine. But my biggest gripe with this trailer is it very pushes the Millie Bobby Brown and the Chris Pratt, and I'm like, they're huge stars, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, the premise is basically like, I guess there's a Walt Disney type person who made these robots and they got out of control and stuff like that. And then they started taking over the world and this robot uprising. But at the same time, it's like, it seems like they all have cool voices and they're like fun R2D2 things. And like, I wanted to see more of that and more of the actual concept and less of the adventure part. And I felt like as a teaser, it sort of failed. So I'm sort of like, this looks more promising to me than the Gray Man, because I think the Russos work a little better. Like, I think the problem with the Gray Man is they wanted to be Christopher McQuarrie, and they're not Christopher McQuarrie at all. And I do think they could have, it was a bad trailer. There's just I'm not going to judge the movie. I'm a little curious when it comes out in March, so we'll see. So the live action Lilo and Stitch movie, although I don't really want to see it at all, I prefer they didn't do it, is coming out on March 23rd, 2025. You think I wouldn't announce that, but the reason I find that interesting is because it comes out on the same day as Mission Impossible 8. As I recall, when the original Lilo and Stitch came out, that is the same day as Minority Report. And it actually, I remember it outgrossing it, but I look back on Box Office Mojo and it was like, I think a $400,000 difference, and it surprised everyone because everyone was like, Minority Report's going to be the highest grossing movie of the year. It's going to do this, it's going to do that. And Lilo and Stitch like sort of stole its thunder, because I remember more people going like, what is this movie? So I do find it funny, Tom Cruise, they're going up against Tom Cruise again. I don't know if I was him, I'd move Mission Impossible 8. I know he had problems with Barbie, but Tom Cruise has shit with Stitch, clearly, so. But it was interesting they did that again. I was like, huh. Interesting. Like Embla T was like, wait, it was a real movie? I've noticed that red one thing. Anytime I see it and kids are in the audience, they're really into it. And I was like, crap. I really hope people don't like this. I hope it's just like a big movie they watch that one year. But I don't think it's going to be like the Christmas Chronicles. That's like the big one for kids. So it was announced, and this is a big one, but there's not much. There's some to share, but not a ton. As monumental as this news is, which is Toho flat out bought G-Kids. G-Kids is now a part of Toho. I think this is because of last December. What happened last December when the two most talked about movies were Japanese films between The Boy and the Heron and Godzilla Minus One. Supposedly Toho has more recently wanted to break out of just being a Japanese studio. Or, I mean, a studio that only puts out stuff in Japan. Let me say it that way. And I think, you look at those two films, which are two of the bigger, Oscar-winning movies later that year. A film that they, I guess, gave the license to, Godzilla vs. Kong, The New Empire. So I think they're probably looking at this and go, well, clearly we have potential. And also, I think what really should be brought up is, was it Sony bought Alamo? Whoever bought Alamo, was it Sony, right? Whomever, I know this is part of it. I'm forgetting if I'm right or wrong about this. But when they bought Alamo, one of the reasons is because they distribute a lot of anime, and anime is becoming more of a theatrical issue. I mean, like we see that like when we're talking about box office this week. But anytime I go to the movies, there's like a screen dedicated to anime now. It's like pretty normal at this point. So I think Toho is probably like, well, if we have G-Kids, we don't have to, take these rights that we're then giving to, Crunchyroll or anything like that. We can just do it directly. It's probably one of the smarter moves because the anime audience is not shrinking. It's clearly growing. And I think in 10 years, we will see that will be the big movie of the week. Presently, it's sort of like a cult thing coming in at number 7. But trust me, I remember when it was coming way lower in the box office. It's getting a lot higher, and this is something people have been suggesting would happen for a very long time. And I think Toho is being smart and strategic about this. Also, Godzilla is a much bigger star now than he was when I was a kid, even though Godzilla's always been a big star. So I think it's an incredibly smart move. I hope it works out for G-Kids. I'm a little worried about the future. And they don't just do Japanese films, and I'm hoping things like Cartoon Saloon and stuff don't get messed with because of that. But I do think we're going to see more and more Toho, more and more Japanese films getting bigger promotion with this, and I think Toho is going to be a bigger player with them doing this. So I am curious about the future. We'll see what happens with Oscar time and G Kids and all that, but pretty substantial news. And the idea that this is, they bought, I believe they bought rights in other things in America, and they're trying to do that. So I'm curious if they'll buy anything else. I'm curious what are their other moves there, but we'll see. But I think it is it's going to be interesting. But I do think we're going to hear more and more about Toho stateside than we previously did, because oftentimes before, when you'd see that logo, you'd have to tell them, like, oh shit, Toho, and people are like, what? And they wouldn't know. But like, I feel like that's gonna change based on this move. I feel like they're planning something, but it might just they're planning something for Godzilla and anime and stuff like that. Although I don't know if there's a Japanese Godzilla movie in production right now. So, but it is pretty seismic news in terms of international and film. I do think last December played. They were probably looking around and like, we're like the two biggest movies in fucking America right now. What's going on? wait, whoa, what is this? Although, like, Ghibli, obviously, like, how many movies does Miyazaki still have in him? Ghibli's not really, like, it doesn't have a huge output. I think they're not really looking at Ghibli as much. They're looking at all the other people who put out stuff and their future. Does Toho just do all the movies? I don't understand all the Japanese distributors. They just know Toho because they're so large, but it's going to be interesting, and what they're able to do in the future I think will be quite remarkable. I will get into the box office. I don't think I'm running late, but I wanted to talk about this one article the Wrap put out, but it was behind a paywall. Everyone in the chat is talking about Red One, and it is confusing me, but no, it doesn't. I don't think it looks good, but trust me, I've seen kids, like, when the polar bears show up, go like, wow, and stuff. So I don't know. I don't think it will do well in theaters. I think it's a mistake putting that in theaters. I think that is just a streaming movie, to be honest with you. Like, I know they spent a lot of money, but anyway, the Rep put out this thing about film critics and social media influencers, I guess, and how often they'll let the influencers break embargo before the critics, and people are like, well, that's not fair, and all this stuff. Here's the thing about that. I totally don't love that on face value. And let me explain what they're doing here. They did bring up, like, we do this for big movies like The Crow and Borderlands. And you're like, I don't know if that's really the best example there. But, oh yeah, Toei, that's true. But I think basically what they're doing is they do this, studios have done this forever, is like, let's say a horror movie's coming out, right? They would let, like, let's say Bloody Disgusting or a horror site break embargo first, because that's what the fans are gonna, see, and they don't care about the New York Times anyway. So, like, they let them do that, and they stagger the embargo. That's fairly standard. It's not the biggest deal, and I'm sure somebody on TikTok, the Superman Kid or whatever, doing his review of The Substance before the New York Times. I think it's like, if you really think about it, this has been going on for a while. It's just the idea that it's influencers, people are upset. I get it to a degree, but I think if you have a bad movie like The Crow or Borderlands, I'd never heard that the TikTok people are going first anyway, so I don't think it matters. Sorry, drop something. Well, I just think it's like, if you really think about it, it's not the disaster that people think it is. It's sort of like, that's just what they do. They want, like, their core demo to have a positive experience first and get that word of mouth, but everybody else is sort of like, it's like, I get the idea that it sucks, but to me it's like, that's they've been playing that game for a long time. They just sort of, changed who the game's rules affect. And I don't think that's a big deal. What? Bloody, that's, oh my god. That's an amazing. I worked at a company that released Borderlands in my country, and I remember my employer having a tantrum at the office when they realized it won't make a lot of money. I think a lot of people thought it'd do better, but it didn't. Alright, so we're going to talk about the box office, and there is a lot to talk about this week. The Terrifier 3 blew up tremendously. It is pretty insane. Uh, Breaking, taking down the Joker, making $21 million, 8,000 per screen, which is higher than anything else in the top 10. Double the second movie, The Wild Robot, in probably it has the least amount of screens in the top 4, too, which means those theaters were packed. This is a good sign for horror. It's a good sign for gory horror. I've never seen any Terrifiers, and I'm like, all right, I need to get on this. I need to start seeing some Terrifier movies. I hear they're gory and stuff. The one thing I did read that was funny is supposedly distributors saying the teens were buying tickets to The Wild Robot and then seeing Terrifier 3. I love it. Supporting animation and seeing a horror movie. I like the kids are all right if that's what's going on. In my day, I remember kids did that with Muppets from Space because Eyes Wide Shut came out the same day. But that's cool. I hope that is true. But I never seen a Terrifier. It's definitely made me want to now. William Ellman with a generous super chat. Thank you. Said Terrifier 3 was better than 2 because there was much less of Damien Lone's embarrassing dialogue featured and more time just dedicated to stabbing people in the genitalia. Wow. What? Wait, what? What the fuck? I haven't seen one, so I'm just going to take at face value that is what a Terrifier is. I like that right under this super chat that George Slavo says, they are messed up. That's amazing. Oh my god. I don't mind a trashy horror movie. I think that's why people are into it, because trashy horror is like, it's fun to be like, what'd you see this weekend? Like, oh, we saw Terrifier 3. Like, come on. People love that shit. Anyway, cheers to you, William Elvin. Cheers to Terrifier, I guess? That sounds horrific. No, I am for a box office surprise. It is actually good for Hollywood. I know people are joking, but it's like legitimately good. It's a small and unrated movie. There's barely ever unrated movies do this well at the box office. It's very unknown. So it's actually really, really good for movies and horror movies in general. And this has been a good year for horror. I think it was like the best horror opening or one of the best horror openings. Just like out of the box, great opening. Apparently the people who made the second one wouldn't do a big studio release because they wanted to have control. And I guess that worked out for them. But really amazing. But I do love... Oh, it's the biggest horror movie opening of the year. Yeah. I do love that the teens we're buying Wild Robot tickets. I mean, they should have seen Wild Robot too. But, you can see both. You can buy 2 tickets for Wild Robot. Sneak into 3 and then... but, wow, it's just... Okay, is that true? To stabbing people? So it's basically like this guy's like less... You want him to be less Freddy Krueger. You want him to be more Michael Myers, I get. Apparently Santa cameos in Terrifier 3. Really? The Santa? Yeah, I think we did get sick of prestige horror. The other film, there's a lot of bombs actually this week. The other film that did, Wild Robot's doing great. It's at 87 million. A sequel has been greenlit. There are 2 other books. I'd imagine this is a good release on having a smaller animated film. From DreamWorks. It was a smart strategy, pushing it out slowly, and everything like that. And there's a lot of word of mouth behind it. And it's doing... Where's the... Hold on. That was the... I'm going to go... Okay, for some reason on box office, I'm used to using box office Mojo. The percentages of people going down. But it only went down 25%. This is just the regular weekend, not the... Anyway, not the 4-day because, or 3-day, whatever, because it was a holiday weekend. The other thing, Beetlejuice held strong at number 3, and beat Joker in its second week, which fell all the way down to 4 at about 7 million. I think, and went down 81%, which is, whoa. I think a couple of things happened with Joker. And there's been, like, so many people talking about, like, oh, well, what? Sometimes I write random stuff, and I wrote Paul DJ, and I don't know what that's supposed to mean under the Joker. Oh, hey, Munas. Hey, Gary, how's it going? Did you see my Dark City? I retweeted this Dark City Trump thing. You should check it out. Anyway, that wasn't a making fun of you thing. That was just a, you should check it out. But yeah, it fell down to 81%, which I think is partly because one thing we don't talk about sequels is the performance of the sequel is how the public feels about the last movie. And I don't think it the general public had the best opinion of the Joker. I'm going to say that right now. But I also think the thing with this movie, I've noticed everyone saying like, well, what was Warner Brothers supposed to do? You have, Todd Phillips is a big director for Warner Brothers, 100% true. Joker made $1 billion, got some Oscar nominations, so they had to do something, or he'd go to a different studio, and so we had to make Joker. We couldn't do studio notes, and David Zaslav couldn't give him notes, and that's why it's so bad and all that stuff, because of this director control. The thing I don't get is like when he like gave you the script, and he's like, "This is what I want, full creative control over." Nobody went, "Wait a second, a Joker musical? That doesn't sound like this is gonna go over well. Maybe this is not the movie to give you full creative control over." It's like I'm fully being like, yes, I get like why you had to pay them a lot and why this movie had a bigger budget and all those things. I get sort of part of that, but I also think maybe have some critical thinking involved. And it's like the Disney with the Lone Ranger is like, well, they were always like, well, if we lose Gore Verbinski and Johnny Depp with Lone Ranger, we can't lose them and have them go to like, I think another studio was going to buy the rights to Lone Ranger or something. And they kept saying like, oh, we can't lose them to another studio. We have to keep them around and all this nonsense. And it's like, yeah, I get to a degree, but like, so one of you should have been like, oh man, nobody really wants a Lone Ranger movie like that. Maybe we shouldn't have the critical thinking to be like, fuck no. Like, I sort of get, I don't know, there's been a lot of defending of the Warner Brothers executives. I'm like, I get it to a degree, but like, at what point where you went, oh fuck, like, this is not going to work out. Why did we say this would work? Like, come on. Like, I'll give you some, like, and also it's like, if he had been like, Joker and Harley Quinn rob a bank and there's a lot of violence, it's like an action thing. I'm a little more with you on that, but like they should have just looked at the script and been like, oh, not 200 million for that though. We're not doing that. But they didn't. And it's like, dude, like, what do you think? Like, I don't know. To me, it's like, I'm willing to like, I'm halfway there with you, but at a certain point, like when you look at like what you're actually making, where you're like, oh, I don't think he should have Final Cut, actually, or we shouldn't approve this. Like, it is your fault. It's like this. It's like, yeah, Todd Phillips and Joaquin and all this stuff. I get it, but it's like Warner's trying to be like, oh man, Todd Phillips is crazy. But it's like, dude, like, you should have been able to figure that out. I don't understand. I always knew this was going to be kind of a bit of a mess, but it's just really funny to me. Saturday night, Piece by Piece opened in 5th, which was pretty good. It apparently only cost $16 million and it made about $3 million, so it will probably make its money back. Everyone's surprised it cost so little. I don't think this is a great weekend for it, because I would like to see it, but it's sort of down on my, the substance, and I probably will see Joker 2 before I see Piece by Piece. So I don't know. I know they're trying to get an award nomination and stuff, but it doesn't really seem to be taking, but it costs very little, so I think it'll work out. Then Saturday night, which there's been a lot of hype around, really died at the box office. I don't know how much this movie cost, but a lot of apparently what I think it's Sony was hoping for, it is Sony, was that once this is a hit first, then they'll do this award spend. This was not a hit. It opened in 7th with $3 million. It didn't really work out. I do think, like, I didn't notice when I watched SNL, because we watch SNL, sometimes watch it live, very little commercials for this, which I think was, like, epically stupid. Like, you should have done a little more to prop up this movie, I think, to the target audience of the actual show. But at the same time, it's like clearly nobody wanted this. If they're not, it's like maybe coming out. I don't know. It's like I sort of get like maybe let's put it out this weekend, but like it was sort of like between piece by piece, and maybe Terrifier we knew was going to do well after Terrifier 2 sort of kept, so that was going to be a solid performer regardless of its how much bigger it did this time. So it's like, to me, it's like I don't really get what their strategy was. Supposedly they were hoping it would be a big hit, but I don't think they really thought through what was going to happen. But it doesn't really didn't work out for that. We're probably not going to hear much more about Saturday Night anymore. I didn't actually really want to see it, so I considered it. Ryan Welcherson was like, "You can see it early," and I thought about it, but I was like, I'm not a big biopic person. It didn't seem like people were that interested. But 8 and 9 are big animation things. My Hero Academia, You're Next, made $3 million, doing really well. And then The Nightmare Before Christmas, another Henry Selick movie, opened in number 9th with $2 million, which is amazing for Nightmare Before Christmas. So we keep seeing Henry Selick movies in the top 10. It's also weird, like, how did Wendell and Wild sort of come and go so quickly, and yet like two of his other filmography, I mean, Wendell and Wild was not as good as like Nightmare Before Christmas or Coraline, but it is like Wild, like these tours, like the public's so ravenous about, and then like he makes a new movie and people, I know it was on Netflix, but like, come on now. And then you have The Apprentice at number 10. I think this is the same, which is a really bad per screen average, was $900. And made about 1.6 million. I think I remember when that film W came out in the 2008 election, even though he wasn't, running. It was the end of his, presidency, and everyone thought that would be huge, and it didn't work out. I just think like people don't want to see movies about people who are actually president. like at the time the film comes out. I think like, had The Apprentice come out like hoping the election, Trump doesn't get elected, if it came out in like 5 to 10 years, I think the interest would be better. But in Sebastian Stan, like I like him, and I heard his interview on WTF, and it was really interesting. But I just don't. I don't think he kind of can open a movie. And also, like, this was a tough weekend. Like, you really needed to have your shit together, and it didn't seem like. I mean, we had 2 biopics, which are kind of awards plays, like flop, like fucking flounders. So I think, like, I mean, they just like fell the fuck apart. Like, there's just no other explanation, to be totally honest with you. And The Substance kept holding despite that. I didn't realize We Live in Time came out. Well, okay. And hey, the last movie in the box office list is Whiplash for its 10th anniversary, which made $36. Which totally got Hundreds of Beavers in 2 theaters made $1,000, but Whiplash $36. I think that's it. I don't know. It was kind of interesting how this weekend, but yeah, supposedly it has been revealed that Sony will not do an awards play. It's sort of over for that movie, so expect to see it on streaming shortly, because it seems like they're really hoping this would do better, and it didn't work out. To me, I think it is Sony's way of keeping Jason Reitman around, so he'll keep making Ghostbuster movies. Even though the last one didn't do well, I think that was part of the reason. I think they also believed Frozen Empire would do better, which stinks because that's of the newer ones, the ones I like the most, to be honest with you. Oh, was he? Okay, that's interesting. All right, so the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has finalized a new click-to-cancel rule. All subscription membership services, which obviously streaming, will be required to offer one click to cancel with the new rule. Rule will go into effect in 180 days after published. I'm assuming that means it didn't publish yet. My thing with this is I have Hulu, but I wanted to watch it at work, and I don't actually have it on my phone for some reason. And I knew I probably couldn't get the password and stuff. So I just like signed up for I like literally signed up and then canceled it right after. And they had so many things. Like they had a trailer Where it's like, come on, you don't want to cancel Hulu. And it had like this like crazy trailer. It had like all these things like, we'll give you a month for fucking free. Just do it, bitch. Just sign up for Hulu, please, dear God. And like I was just like, no, cancel. You know. And but it was like I read this right after that and I was like, man, that was obnoxious. So like I'm glad that they there's probably better things they could be doing, to be quite frank. But I do like that they did that. I think that's really cool. Kind of warranted, especially after. But yeah, Hulu does have a trailer, and Peter Griffin comes on and begs you. It's kind of sad. So I think I sort of have known about this, not to be like, look how smart I am. That Chad Stahelski shot. I knew he did reshoots on the ballerina, but we have learned that it was 2 to 3 months of reshoots, which had also with Captain America. Is it New World Order? The new one with, Anthony Mackie, whatever that one is. That had extensive reshoots. We're seeing this more and more, particularly with franchise stuff, because those matter so much to the studios. To me, it's like, I don't know, because they had Lee Winnell, but it's like, what did you expect from Lee Winnell? You expected a good movie from him? I saw Total Recall and some of An Underworld on TV once. Come on. I knew that wasn't going to work out for you. You should have known better. All right, let's go into trailers. A couple of people were asking me about the Sing Thriller thing, and even Ryan was like, if you don't talk about it, people are going to ask you. My thing with doing Thriller is like, you can watch Thriller. There's YouTube. Thriller's on there. Like, just watch Thriller. The only Thriller thing that made sense to me was when Glee did like a Michael Jackson episode, and you knew they were going to do Thriller. Like, it makes total sense. But when like Shrek or Sing or whoever the fuck, like, I don't need you to do Thriller. I can watch Thriller. You're not going to do better than Thriller. Like, what's the point of this? I don't understand. I just don't get it. I just, like, maybe they do it in a different way or something, but like, what are you saying with doing Thriller ultimately? Like, Thriller's like I don't think you could make a best music videos of all time list without Thriller. It's anyway. I just find it odd. Anyway, let's talk about trailers. There was a new trailer for The Complete Unknown. Kind of getting more into that with the biopic there. I'm like it made me come around a little bit more to this Bob Dylan movie, but I'm sort of just like not into it just looks too boring to me. I like this trailer more than the last one, but I'm not like I feel like I'll watch it on streaming at some point. Like, Chalamet's fine, but like Todd Haynes made I'm Not There. To me, it's like, or you can watch the documentary about Dylan. What was it called? Don't Look Back, I think. Like, you can watch those. You don't need to watch The Complete Unknown. Whatever. I mean, it just seems like, movie about Dylan in the 60s, like his most celebrated period. I wouldn't mind, like, let's do Dylan's Born Again Christian phase in the 80s. Let's make a movie about that. Like, I would that, because that's always been sort of weird. I would see something about that, but not like the most celebrated Bob Dylan period. Seems a bit much for me. The Order. This is an interesting trailer for a movie basically about a kind of white supremacist militia and the people who are trying to stop them, and the radio host played by Mark Maron, who they go after. It looks like a really good thriller with Nicholas Hoult, Jude Law, all those people. So it looked pretty fascinating, to be honest with you. I'm kind of intrigued by it. There's nothing I can talk about that specifically sticks out to me. The Legend of Ochio, that seemed like a cool movie about like people on this island, and they have these monsters, and this girl picks a baby monster. It had a cool look to it, at least, and like I'm curious about it. It seems like kind of like an odd cult movie with movie stars in it. We also had the trailer for The Monkey, which is by director of Long Legs. I didn't understand what it was about. It just seemed to show a lot of gore and like crazy horror scenes, and I was like, I don't know what this is about, but this looks nuts. Like I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. It's like a Stephen King thing or something. Supposedly there's a monkey, and then there's like a guy covered in blood holding a lady's finger. I was like, whatever, guys. I don't know. Like, like someone was on fire. I have no clue what this movie's about, but I was like, I want to see it. I don't know what it's about, but I want to see it. So good trailer there. I do. Okay, I'll agree with you, William Elman. Hearing Bob Dylan talk about any of that stuff, he's the best because he will shit on all that stuff, and he's much more critical than his fans are of him. I'll say that. Let's see. Oh, Carry On. That looked a lot of fun about a guy who works in TSA, and somebody tries to get him to get let one bag through. Is going to pay him off and just let him let one bag through and not stop it. Looks like a cool thriller. You have Jason Bateman as kind of the bad guy, Taron Egerton as the TSA guy. It looks cool. It looks like a solid thriller. Like that to me, it sucks. This comes out mid-December because I want to. Here's what I want with Carry On. So I do the dishes after Thanksgiving. I'm all sleepy and shit. I fall asleep and then I feel bad. I fell asleep because it's like good, and then I like watch it again later, and like this would be great for that. But some asshole decided. Oh yes, and it was Sarah. Thank you. Also, hey Will, how's it going? But yeah, it's Sierra who did Sierra. It's Sierra, the R&B singer, directed. No, the guy who oh my god, he did some Liam Neeson. He did Run the Night, which I never saw, but he did the Liam Neeson one on a plane. He does like very pulpy action. He's really good at it. It looked like right up his alley. I'm excited for. I think Carry On. I'm excited for Carry On a bit for what it is. And then finally we have werewolves, and this is the coolest premise. I gotta give it some props here because it is an awesome premise. It is basically about how there was some weird moon thing and everybody turned into werewolves. Like everyone on Earth turned into werewolves, or not everyone, but certain people turned into werewolves. And there's going to be a full moon, and so everyone's like getting ready for like all the people to turn into werewolves. And then Frank Grillo's in it killing werewolves, and he goes, "Bite me!" And he's like, "Da-da-da-da-da-da." Awesome. I'm here for werewolves, dude. That is awesome. I did like someone was like previously Frank Grillo was in a movie where all crime is legal, and now he's in a movie where all werewolves are legal. And I'm like, oh my god, epic. I do like. I feel like I don't know if Frank Grillo is in real life, but I love watching him in these like action horror things. Purge 2, Purge 2 is my favorite Purge. I like the Purge movies. I think I saw the first 4, and I didn't watch the show, and I didn't watch the 5th one. Anyway, Purge 2 and 3 solid. Purge 1 is like the worst one. Don't see the first one. Not my thing. Although Ethan Hawke's cool. All right, so I want to talk about Dogma because it's sort of fucking weird. This thing, and I want to explain why it's weird. I don't want anyone to be like, "Well, you have a problem with Dogma?" I don't. I saw Dogma opening weekend. I've loved Dogma for a long time. Don't worry about Dogma. But maybe it was the Forever Purge. I don't think I saw Forever Purge. Maybe that was it. Anyway, so Dogma. We've learned this week from Kevin Smith during an interview that he is someone. I'm not joking. We don't know who got the rights of Dogma back from the Weinsteins. How this all happened, to explain this, in case I haven't said it before, you don't know, Dogma was made by Miramax. Then Disney was like, who owned Miramax at the time, you can't release this controversial religion movie. We're gonna like shelve it. So the Weinsteins bought. I like people telling me which eyes I got. The Weinsteins bought it back, but they owned Dogma. They sold distribution to Lionsgate, but they basically owned Dogma. And when Harvey Weinstein, got in trouble for obvious reasons, Dogma was sort of held captive. And Kevin Smith basically, you couldn't get it on Blu-ray. It was very unavailable, all this stuff. And somehow somebody got it back. We do not know the ins and outs of that. We do not, literally, I've heard reporters going no one knows who owns this movie presently. I'm assuming someone does if he's saying this. I don't think Kevin Smith say that. I'm not trying to shit on him or anything. It's a little odd. But he said that the people came to him and asked if he would tour with the movie. And he was saying, we'll clean up because it was just this 25th anniversary. It was Dogma's 25th anniversary recently. And that he'll tour with it, and then they can put it on Blu-ray and everything like that. So it sounds like it will get a release at some point. But the only weirdness is no one knows who's behind this other than Kevin Smith. I did learn what's interesting. A couple of people have been talking about how with the 4:30 movie, is that Kevin Smith, basically how he keeps being able to make movies is when Jay and Silent Bob Reboot did very well through Blu-ray sales and through his touring stuff, the studio was like, we'll make another cheap movie for you because movies don't cost that much. And so that's actually helped him be able to make more movies because he's cultivated his fan base for so long. People will keep, those people have been with him for years through the View Askew website and all this stuff. So he's been very smart about that. And I think that's what's that's sort of what's kept him going, to be honest. Is like he doesn't make expensive movies and they make their budget back and then some, and then they keep getting watched. Like he has a good fan base and he's good at running it, to be honest. Like I don't love all his recent movies, but as a filmmaker he's definitely figured out, he's sort of like, this is his M. Night Return sort of thing, but he just cultivates his own audience. So Dogma was a big movie for me when that came out. It's not as much now. I reviewed it when, you can watch me talk about it there, but it is interesting what's happening with it. But I would like to know how did they get the rights, who has the rights, and what's going on. Did you literally give Harvey Weinstein like money for it? But I'd much rather Dogma be out, and I don't know if Harvey Weinstein can spend any of that money other than lawyers. So I don't know. There's some questions with that I think should be raised and all that stuff. All right. I think we should take a break soon, but I want to bring up a few things and then I will take a break. So we've learned a bit about the Superman marketing. And supposedly, and I like this, is that we keep hearing from people that they're going to emphasize hope and positivity and admirable virtue and the overall Boy Scout nature of Superman. It sounds like they're marketing a Superman movie, which is kind of interesting. And we also learned Crypto, the Superdog's going to be in it. But I like that he's embracing the Superman of the Superman movie. I think that's actually really cool. So I hope that continues with this, but it gives me that's kind of like another, I haven't felt bad vibes about this movie, but that made me feel extra good vibes hearing that rumor and seeing Crypto the Superdog. I think we're going to get like a good like all audience Superman movie, and I think that's what people need. And I think that's like, hey, they wanted to bring back DC. I think that's the way you do it. You literally make a Superman movie. For so long, they're like, but what if Superman was badass? And I'm like, or what if you just made a Superman movie? I don't know. Good night, Dan. Thank you for being here, by the way. Thank you so much. All right, and so the Cynthia Erivo AI thing, I will talk about this a little. So they tried to recreate the Wicked poster, the original Wicked poster. It didn't work out. People didn't like it. They changed it, photoshopped it so her face was hidden more and stuff. And then people did an AI thing where it looks like, the text says that Ariana Grande asked Cynthia Erivo, like, is your pussy green and stuff. And people were like laughing about it. And then and I did actually know this, it's been a long subway tag on Wicked posters to write that. It's like not a new thing at all. It's like years and years old. But it just made its way to the internet. And then Cynthia Erivo reacted to this. They go, it's horrible. And it's like, I get that she was against AI, but she just like was super serious about it. And like talked about how like, well, that poster was meant to be that because we're looking at the audience. That's the windows to the soul. And you're like, okay, it wasn't a great poster, but just like her saying it's disgusting. Like no one in marketing knew about that. Like how did I know about that? And you didn't know about that. Like to me, it's like, but yeah, that's a long, That's a long running NYC thing. I actually hadn't seen it in a while, and when people were like, "Oh, it's been a thing," I was like, "Oh my god, I remember that." It's just funny, but she took it way too serious. But I can tell you, yes, that I've seen it around. I think the Twitter post from 2014. I swear I saw it in the 2000s originally. So I don't know who came up with it. I think it's just like a thing people think because she's whispering to the Wicked Witch and. Whatever. But you know what's funny? It's like if I had asked her a question, I'm like, so like, but is it though? Like, could you just tell us? Because like, I feel like you're avoiding the question, and like you could just tell us though. Like, just tell us. Like, I don't just say yes or no. Just could you just say? Because we've all wondered for like all this time. I'm trying to be gross, but like, come on, just answer the question. I don't know. Anyway, it's not a new thing, lady. I don't know if I could just answer it. No, I get that she was saying the poster edit was offensive to her, but I just didn't think like it. I don't think that went over. I don't think that went over well, to be honest with you. And it's also like I love when people like nobody liked that poster, and it seemed like I'd even read like people in marketing were like upset that that didn't go over well. I'm not against the Wicked movie, but I think like the part one thing is not going to work out well for it. But I also think like you're going against Moana too. Like you're not. I don't think that movie's going to work out the way they think it is. That's my impression. I'm not saying anything about the quality. I have nothing against the musical, but like it's a pretty stacked holiday season. And like if when they saw Moana 2, they should have moved. I just don't understand why they didn't do that. All right, so we learned that these are two things, and then I'm going to take a break. Bennett Miller is working on a Charlie Kaufman. No, Charlie Kaufman is writing. Let me say that a Bennett Miller movie who directed Fire Foxcatcher and stuff like that. There's supposed to be a mystery star, a star who basically can get this movie funded. A lot of people think it's Brad Pitt. Who knows? But supposedly it'll be a sort of a movie star person. We don't know who it is. I think Charlie Kaufman, but the thing with Bennett Miller, he's a good director. I kind of think maybe Charlie Kaufman could tip him into being more interesting. But I it's not a choice where I'm like, oh, I'm sort of intrigued, but I'm like not. But I like Charlie Kaufman. Hey, I liked Ryan in the Dark. I didn't like his last directorial movie that much, but we'll see. But it is it's interesting that that's going on. Oh, Rob, cool. Will and Will Studios. All right, and the last thing is we learned about Iron Man and his awesome friends, which is the, I guess. They made Spidey's Amazing Friends, and now they're making an Iron Man not spin-off, because Iron Man is a grown-up in Spidey's Amazing Friends, voiced by John Stamos, actually. And this is Iron Man as a kid, and his friends are the Hulk and Ironheart. What I don't understand about this, where is War Machine's not in this? I guess War Machine probably sounds too scary to kids, but it's like you don't have... Like, he's like kind of the big Iron Man sidekick. Like, he's just weird that like, and Hulk's wearing a suit. Like, basically, like, if you don't have kids, you really don't know, is like there's so many of these shows where there's like three people who are very identifiably different. They have a headquarters and they go off and fight crime and stuff like that. But it is super odd to me, this show, because it's like people kept making Demon in the Bottle stuff, but I was like, but like, where's War Machine? And like, did you think you're going to have a spinoff? Like, how are you going to explain Iron Man? Like, he's very much in several episodes. So, like, I'm confused. And then they're just making the same show, too, which is weird. Like, I know there's a lot of kid shows like that, and Spidey and His Amazing Friends is not unique at that whatsoever. However, I will give them this. It was called Web Quarters and not Headquarters, and that's funny to me. But to me, it just like doesn't play. I think it sounded dumb, and I think they sort of messed up. Like, just you don't make the same show, and that is one of the things I hate about little kid stuff. Is it's so much like, let's do the same formula again. Let's do, Paw Patrol's doing well. Let's do the same formula again. Let's do the same formula again, and it just like isn't, in my mind. It's sort of boring, but it's also weird because you're like, but you had a different thing there. I don't get it. Anyway. I don't think there's really obits this week. I didn't ask in the Discord, and I couldn't think of someone, and I'm sorry if I'm forgetting someone. But I'm going to take a break. Then we'll talk about the Family Guy Halloween special, Peter Pumpkin Cheater. And then we'll do questions, and that'll be it. I think there's a possibility we'll go over, but maybe not. So, where's the Howard the Duck Disney Jr. show? There you go. There you go. There we go. Cheers to you. I love it. I love it. Fusion. This was okay. It was. Anyway. There was actually a good amount of Really? PJ Masks died? I'm sorry for PJ Masks. I apologize. Like, the show died, I guess? I don't. Anyway. Alright, I'm going to take a break. I did hear about the One Direction guy, and it's sad because Trevor Moore died the same way from Whitest Kids You Know, and that kind of affected me a decent because he was the cool guy at my college and stuff my freshman year. So that was kind of affecting. But just be careful on a balcony. I would say it's like, although they were both accidents, I don't know, but just be careful out there. Anyway, I'm gonna take a break. I need to use the bathroom. Then we'll talk about Family Guy. If anyone wants to write a ton of obituaries, then I'm sorry if I forgot. It's always a crazy day. There's always a lot going on. Then I will talk about them. Oh, you should Steve Meister. I would say just start with being John Malkovich. Start with being John Malkovich. That's what I would say. Being John. Everyone's gonna say Eternal Sunshine, but just being John Malkovich is a good starter one. Oh, hey, Alex is here. Oh, I'm about to. Happy birthday, Alex. I'm about to take a. I'm gonna take a break. I gotta. Oh. Hold on. Wow, everybody's like coming. Okay, hey Jim. I know you're not into spindle horse stuff, but I just found out John Waters is going to be in the next episode. So that's what the fuck. What is spindle? What does that mean? First off, Dante Giselson. Anyway, sorry. First off, cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry, what is Spindle Horse? I don't know what. Spindle Horse? Is it an animation company? Wait, is it. This is the Has-Been Hotel? That the kids are into? What is. Wait, what? Hell of a Boss. Oh, he's on Hell of a Boss? I didn't know that. Okay, you know what? I'll review the Hell of a Boss, the next one that he's in. Let me know. Thank you, Dante, for telling me that. I did not know that at all, and that was. I will review Hell of a Boss again for John Waters. How about that? I'll review Hell of a Boss. Maybe that'll be. When's this coming out? Somebody let me know. Anyway, I do need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. That's awesome. Thank you for telling me, Dante. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right, I will be right back. Where are we? I'll be. Where are we? Sorry. I'll be right back after these messages. I'll be right back. Okay, cool. Peace for a second. Okay, hello. Sorry about the wait there. A brownie ad. Okay. Oh. Sort of glad. I guess next show will assuming there is a news from New York Comic Con, then I feel like we'll be talking. Hello? We'll be talking about that. Just gonna have a little. Keep the energy up, but if you want to do a super chat, there isn't that much show left. I feel like we will go a little late because of I want to get to everything. But yeah, sorry if it took a little bit. Get back into move a kid who fell asleep in one bed into their own bed and all that stuff. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So it sounds like I need to get into this. I am sort of doing some Halloween's. That hell of a boss thing. Thank you for that, Donnie, because I really didn't know. I didn't know at all. I didn't know John Rogers was going to be in that. So, will you be seeing Piece by Piece, not Box 64? I am not sure. I'm not sure when I would like to. There's just too many movies right now and not enough time, I think is the problem. It does interest me and I like Pharrell. So I'm kind of interested, to be honest with you, but I'm not sure when and if I do. But I would like to. It's not a movie I'm like against. It's just a time thing. But cheers to you, Box 64. I know I would like to see The Substance. Yeah. Anyway. Even though, I don't know, I need to go to the movies like once a week again. I think that would help, because once you get behind, it's like, it's hard when you got two kids and all that stuff. So, but I would like to. But thank you for asking me. And a Nat Box 64, you want to see, I almost made a short of all the different character posters on the subway, but they stopped posting them. So I only got 3, so you can see what little I had of that project on my Twitter if you'd like to. All right. So, exclusively on Hulu for some reason, Family Guy released a Halloween special, or just a Halloween episode, titled, the episode is called Peter Pumpkin Eater. And it's sort of two plots. I don't know if it's A plot or B plot or Peter plot and then Stewie and Brian plot, I guess. But Peter and Cleveland and Quagmire are hanging out with the guy in the wheelchair, whatever his name is, I'm sorry, and find out he's going to have this huge pumpkin. He's trying to make the biggest pumpkin in this pumpkin competition because his wife is always hanging out with this guy voiced by Glenn Powell, who usually wins the pumpkin thing, and they're like, oh, what is he doing with that guy? And they're always like, they're just doing pumpkin stuff, which I don't know what it's a fun enough joke. Joe, I'm sorry, Austin, Joe. But he, and so they're going to remove this pumpkin because they're kind of annoyed by how big it is and stuff, and they break it, and then Peter has to be in the pumpkin, and hilarity ensues. The other plot, which is kind of like maybe the more fun, more horror one's just like Halloween festivities, and one is horror, which is Stewie and Brian. They're supposed to dress up as Sonny and Cher, with Stewie being Cher and Brian being Sonny. But Brian doesn't want to do that because he's going to hang out with his friends, but he has no friends. And when he talks about his friends, they're basically sort of made up, or they're people he barely knows. But they, Stewie's upset, and he makes kind of a wish to his bear that he wish he could kill Brian. He says no takes backsies, and he tries to then, right after he tried to make his bear Rupert into a kind of make him live, but it didn't work. But then he says that to the bear, and he becomes sentient, and he tries to kill Brian and stuff. This was sort of fine. It was a fun, decent special. I think it's better than the SpongeBob one, Creepaway Camp. It's a lot better than that. I thought it was fine for that. But I would say they did have one joke. They kept saying people who dress like Sonny look like Anthony Kiedis, and they would just cut to a picture of Anthony Kiedis. I'm like, sorry, Rockstar's age, weird. And like, I know people slag off the Red Hot Chili Peppers a lot, which I don't. They're not my favorite, but I never understood the hate either. But it did make me laugh because Anthony Kiedis does look like Sonny Bono at this point. But that I laughed each time. I will admit I LOL'd at the Anthony Kiedis joke. The rest wasn't very funny. But I will say, as I watched a lot of Halloween specials, I think there's kind of two things with that this does right that a lot of Halloween specials fail at. I don't think this is a new classic. I think it's pretty standard. In general, it was like okay, whatever episode of a long-running animated sitcom kind of thing. But I think like you have to have a horror thing and someone who actually likes horror movies. I think oftentimes you can sort of tell when someone doesn't really know horror movies and they're making one of these. It seemed like they actually sort of liked horror and understood how to get that to work with the characters, which I applaud them for that. I thought that actually worked the Brian and Stewie plot and had enough weird, like the Sonny and Cher thing was a little odd. Like it had enough interesting things in it. Like that was really the best part of the show. The Peter Pumpkin thing with Glenn Powell. I don't know why Glenn Powell was in this. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It was kind of a dumb thing. I noticed like they'll sometimes just cut to like a weird joke, and I was like, okay, maybe that's just a regular Family Guy thing. But yeah. Oh, and thank you, Cornbread, for mentioning this. They did this one joke that did not play well for me. Where it was like they had this joke where Rupert said he was like, I'll do this after I eat some Doritos, and he goes, it was either this or we fire 3 of our writers, which like I was like, maybe that's funny, but it kind of made me go like, well, you're a Family Guy though, you're very well funded, you're getting specials on a streaming service, like do we like want to make product placement jokes about firing animation writers in 2024? Like I didn't love that. It was a fine episode. It was solid. I don't watch Modern Family Guy. I have no clue what it's like. But I didn't really think it was like, if you like Family Guy and you're like, should I watch? I'm like, yeah, but it's not one that like, if you haven't watched in a while, I wouldn't overly recommend it. I'm sort of like, it at least brought the baseline level for a Halloween special. It definitely got what it was supposed to do. You're supposed to have horror in there. You're supposed to actually like horror and do that in there, and also do some festive Halloween stuff. And they did that well. They had trick-or-treating, they had pumpkins, they had all this stuff. Then I'm sort of generally cool with this. Like they in general did what they're supposed to do, and they did it decently well. It just doesn't really stand out to me at all. They probably, and also of the Griffins, it was basically just like Stewie, Peter, and Brian. Like the other characters like were barely there. I think Lois shows up at the end, and it was like, okay, like it was like that was a little odd. I mean, but it was fine. I don't really think it. What was weird is, I will say this, is I actually thought that this was longer for some reason. Like the SpongeBob one, and I'm sure no one's making this comparison, but I am, because this is the 2 I've watched this year. Is that was like 45 minutes, which is longer, which I get. It's like, oh, it's a streaming thing, it can be longer. I actually thought this was longer. It's just a standard episode. It seems like they just like made another episode. There's nothing like necessarily like different about it. It feels like they can just like throw it in the syndication order later, if they still have that. I don't know. So anyway, whatever. This was fine. It was a fun show to watch while I had lunch. It was a fine Halloween special if you want to watch one as your as you're drinking beers after Halloween. It gets the job done, and it does it pretty well, and it understands what a Halloween special can be. But is this anything other than kind of standard? No, it's not. It's nothing really that special. It's only, doing the decent job of making a bearable, pun intended maybe, Family Guy episode for Halloween. And I guess it succeeds in just being the base level of what it is. All right. That's sorry. I don't know. I like to review a couple of Halloween specials that come out at the time each year. So all right. Let's do Patreon questions. I'm going to write questions below, and then the show is over. Questions below. Which effects? What all 40 Cable Guy fans? I think there's probably more Cable Guy fans. They're just not as vocal about it anymore. But yeah, if anyone wants to do super chats, this is your last chance. And next week there will be a show, but the week after there will not. So keep that in mind. If you're watching this, you're like, I want to do one in October. I will not be around I will not have a live show the week of Halloween. So just aware of that. All right, so Jordan Bouchard says, what are some animal-themed movies you've enjoyed and why? Animal-themed movies. I guess Zootopia. I'm going to say Zootopia. Remember I liked Homeward Bound 2 as a kid, and I don't remember that too well. I just remember the ending. We all cried because I was a kid. I don't remember anything else. I saw Milo and Otis when I was so little, I don't remember it. Animal-themed... I guess Air Bud. I did see the first Air Bud. William Oman has a super chat. Says, what is your favorite Abbott and Costello flick? And have you seen Pardon My Sarong by them? I don't think I've seen that. I think my favorite... is that Abbott and Costello or... Who did the Christmas tree one? Was that Abbott and Costello? So, cheers to you, William Oman. It might be Meets the Monsters. I might be thinking of someone else. Who did the... Hold on. Abbott and Costello. I did see the Flying Duchess. Is it the Flying Dutchman? Is that it? Keep them flying. The Flying Dutchman. Who did that? Is that... Don't play... No, that's not... That's a... Anyway, I think I might be thinking of somebody else. But, I'm going to say Meets Frankenstein. I'm just going to say that one because that's the only one I can think of. Who did the Christmas tree? Is that Abbott and Costello or someone else? No, Abbott and Costello didn't make silent stuff, I don't think. No, they did Who's On First. Okay, now I'm looking at their movies. I've not seen Pardon My Sarong. What was the one? Did I see that? I might be thinking of somebody else. I think I'm mixing them up with a different person, which is did see the Naughty 90s. I'm just gonna say Meet Frankenstein because that's sort of like the one I'd go to Mars. That's interesting. Okay, now you're making me want to see more of these, William Ellman. Well, thank you very much for the super chat. Cheers to you. All right, back to the Patreon questions. Where I messed this all up. Sorry. Okay, Sinram says, two of my favorite actors are Anna Kendrick and Ryan Reynolds, partly because they seem eager to ridicule themselves and their profession for our pleasure. Anyone strike you that way? I actually think Kurt Russell, when he does sort of his knowing, more ironic performances, which he doesn't always do them. He kind of messes. He does all sorts of different performances, but I notice like when he does like The Thing, he doesn't do it. But I notice in like Escape from New York and especially Big Trouble in Little China, he's sort of like winking at the audience and sort of does it in sort of a ironic way. I've seen him do that. Is it just Big Trouble in Little China? I think Escape from LA, he definitely does it. And he's really good at that, actually. I think he's probably the best during doing that. Like, he's definitely not taking himself seriously, but understands what he's doing. And I sort of get that with Snake Plissken, and I get that with some of his other stuff. He very much has a level of irony in his performances. Nathaniel Walker said, with it being a decade since you've been on Pizza Party Podcast, I wanted to ask, what are some of your favorite moments that you had on there? I would say, sorry, I need water after that. There's a lot. Just joking around. The one where we talked about the Star Wars jizz music, I would say is up there. Just like eventually realizing I had really good friends with him. MomoCon was pretty epic. Like, it was the first time we had all seen each other, and I would say that was be up there. The Ian one, I think, was a big culmination. I don't know. It was just like so much of the four of us, or the five. I'll say five and include Ken, because to me, it's like I felt like me, Izzy, Nolan, Pan was sort of the group that because we all met in person twice. I think that felt tighter in a lot of ways. But no offense to Ken or anything. But yeah, I'd say those. Some, I don't know. I think that's good enough. But I'd say the MomoCon thing. I think I listed some. I think we're okay. Yeah, why not? Anyway. Oh, and then we have Austin's question. It says, sorry for the late question. Been really busy lately, and thanks for asking the daily question on the Discord. I have been actually doing the daily question a few times. We do a daily question on the general chat. I try to do it, but it becomes tougher. I understand. It's okay. When you ask a question you asked 2 years ago, my for tonight is, what flavor would you like to see Ghost try for next after grape? I wouldn't mind a Space Ghost collaboration. I'm more into the cherry and stuff like that, and I wouldn't mind. I don't know. I wouldn't mind if they did like a red licorice. I think maybe let's do that one. Let's do that one. All right, questions. Regular question said, if Joker 2, this is from Zane Powers. Hey, Zane Powers. If Joker 2 failed so horribly at switching genres, what is the sequel that made the transition well? Switching genres. I don't know, because there's some that are different, like your Halloween 3s or your Friday the 13th 5s. Switching genres. There's actors who can do it. I don't know if there's a franchise that's done it as radically. I would say, you know what, maybe the Captain America, because the first one was very much a World War II action movie, and the second one was more of a spy. I always thought a 90s thing, not a 70s thing. So maybe that one. We have Lucas Anderson said, which comic book character should be the next prestige acting role after the Joker? It's weird that people are vying to play him like a Shakespeare role. I sort of agree with that. I think the problem is you kind of have to, first, Lucas Anderson, thank you for the super chat. I think people like, prestige. I actually think Storm would be good. But maybe a villain. But some of them is like, well, Magneto was played by a prestige actor. So it's like that is the part. But doing like a maybe like Joker, like an origin thing, I actually think Sandman, and if you got like a good, I mean, Thomas Hayden Church is very acclaimed, but I think you could do something with Sandman. Like have Glenn Powell play Sandman. I think he's like the villain you sort of are like, no, he's just trying to get money for his kid and stuff. I think that would probably work. People should be on the Sandman train. Remiku Hariku Shrine said, how did you feel about the podcast after it had been done with after so long? Are there any good, bad memories you got from it when that come to mind? I mean, I'm sort of like, I think it sort of ended where like, I don't know if I could still do it as regular just because of everything in my life, but also, I have more good memories than bad at this point. You know, when it ended with all the Daft Pina stuff, I have no interest in him, and I put all my bad feelings on him, but, everything, else, I'd say, are good for the most part. But yeah, with him, But I think mostly I just think of like it was cool having that group of friends and stuff. Austin says, "Is something brewing at D&D?" That's not that's not my name anymore. It's Dunk. Anyway, Zane Power says, "Since your streams are frequently filled with errors and misspellings, why can't your streams be on a more professional quality like Ninja's? Is Ninja still doing? I don't know. I guess in the timestamps, why not? I don't think there's any down here now, but it's just that is what it is. Clearly, I'm better than Ninja because I have the confidence to have the spelling errors. So that's really what it's about. I don't know why I acted like that was a super chat. It's not. All right. Favorite witch show or movie for Mandela Butterfly? I might say The Witch, but that's sort of typical. So, maybe Willow and Buffy, maybe? I'll just go with that, I think. Cornbread. So with Werewolves this December, Wolfman in February, and Katana Wolfman in Skeleton Crew, which is also in December, I think. I believe you're right. Is winter the new season for Wolfman? I guess it is. I don't disagree with that. I agree with that, yeah. Should Steven Summers make a comeback from Nathaniel Fuga? I'm surprised he hasn't, with everybody being so like pro the Mummy. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more of that, to be honest with you. I've thought that before. So, yeah, he probably should, because he directed The Mummy. I don't think it's very much a him movie. I hear more praise for Brendan Fraser than the guy who very much it's his auteur style, to be totally honest with you. So, but Bloxy Oxowinkle, sorry, what would a Paul Blart Halloween look like? I think you could do one, and like there's a terrorist group attacking the suburban neighborhood. I think you could do a good one. I think it would be like that. Caden Hanshai says, what's the best animated movie of last year so far, in your opinion? I'm assuming you mean this year. Last year would probably be Across the Spider-Verse, although I think The Boy and the Heron's very interesting. This year, there's obviously some I haven't seen, and I didn't see Robot Dreams yet, which is another one I need to see. I might go, I don't know, Inside Out 2, when I rewatched it, I was like, this is pretty good. I'm sort of more Wild Robot, I think, is right now, to be honest with you, but we'll see. Nathaniel Fogo, what year did you have the most memorable Halloween? I don't know. When I was a kid, I had some good ones. I remember the middle school ones better. When I was a kid, I just remember running from house to house and having tons of candy and the kind of fury of it all. But I remember being a teenager and getting candy, and then we'd rent a VCR and watch, like, The Crow and From Dusk Till Dawn and stuff. So I remember those more. Why is YouTube froze my thing? Okay, hold on. Where Black Sound Chronicle, Godzilla vs. Paul Blart, who wins? I think Society. Mr. Maximus Harder, what's your go-to dinner meal? Probably chili. I always have a can of chili, just in case. What do we do if Mars needs moms? We go to war, I guess. Cornbread, what's some examples of shows you're currently enjoying with having no date for when their season break will end? For me, that's Moon Girl Season 2, second half. My niece is losing patience. I guess that, I can't think of one. Well, I guess Unsolved Mysteries, because I never know when there's going to be a new one. They don't advertise it, so I'd say that. Cinnamon asked, didn't Kurt Russell play Santa Claus in something? Was he winking then as well? I do think he's winking a little bit, but he plays it more genuine in the Christmas Chronicles, both of them. Same Powers, remember that time Pan started crying in his video playing the Toy Story video game when recounting how a girl wasn't into it? I do not remember that at all, but that sounds like him. Cornbread, with this past week having been your 10th year on the Beats Party podcast, all your fans were earning. How do you plan on celebrating the 10th anniversary of the iconic podcast callbacks? Well, we'll see. I have a little bit for that one. Good night, William Ullman. Thank you for being here. I've been listening. Oh, thank you, Maximus Oliver. Remember classic Pete's Party character? Okay, Zane Powers. What? All right, question. Who had to pay for all the pizza that being delivered when you're recording? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that joke. Well, Pan did the whole time. And meet us at the Walmart parking lot thing. Zane Powers, can you give us your best Heath Ledger impression and tell us about Society? No. Would you consider Argyle as the best worst movie 2024? So I didn't see Argyle, so I couldn't comment. How about the Max? I need to review that at some point. Worst pizza party guess. Who is that whole diaper thing? That would be the worst one that I can think of. Either that or I'll just say that one. Same powers. If people are only good at writing their own demographics, should straight white men only make movies? Yeah, probably. I mean, they're not. Yeah. Questions. I don't have a question. Just hi. Hi, Ratboy Mickey. Well, why does Mars needs moms? Are they stupid? It was the Kmart parking lot. Okay. All right. I think I got everybody. I think I did. It is. Whoa. We went way over. All right. Thank you all for being here. Why is, man, all my YouTube stuff is super being weird tonight. Like the one streaming one acts like I'm still playing the whatever. Anyway, I think it's time to go to bed. I think that is it. Good night to all of you. Thank you for being here. I'll be back next week. There'll be videos coming out soon. Thank you all for your support as always. Thank you to all the super chats, which include, man, what is up with YouTube? Lucas Anderson, William Ellman, Nattenbach64, Dante Giselson, I think, Nathaniel Foy again, William Ellman again, William Ellman, William Ellman, Austin, and Black Seahawks. Oh, Michael, I very much appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you to everyone. I will see you next time. Have a good night. And subscribe if you would like to. All right, peace. See you next time.